RPE stands for rate of perceived. RPE stands for rate of perceived. RPE stands for rate of perceived this word. Now, before I go any further in this video, I just want to say that today's video is sponsored by absolutely no one. So, RPE and RIR was conceived by Gunnar Borg in 1970, and thank God. Otherwise, we'd have gimpazoids testing their 1 rep max every Monday on International Chest Day, expecting their bench to have shot up by 10 kilograms after only training it once since the last time that they tested. Oh no, wait, we've still got gimpazoids doing that across gyms across the world every single Monday. Anyway, when the Borg scale first came out, it was a little bit confusing. So fast forward to the year 2000, and founder of Reactive Training Systems, Mike this guy, solved this confusing problem by modifying the scale. And today we know RPE by basing it on how many reps you have in reserve, or RIR, at the end of a given set. Now don't worry if that's gone straight over your head, because I'm going to elaborate. So the RPE and RIR scale runs from 0 to 10. And if I was to perform press-ups at an RPE of 8, it means I'd stop when I thought I only had 2 reps remaining without compromising my form. Yeah, I think I had 2 reps left in me there. Now, differently, if I was asked to take press-ups to an RPE of 10, meaning I had 0 reps left in reserve, a set would probably look like this. Oh my god, I definitely didn't have any reps left in there. And that's when, if your push-ups look like you're having a seizure whilst having sex, you know you've probably gone too far. So I guess you could say RPE and RIR go hand in hand. In simple terms, RPE or RIR has been created for you, the trainee, to gauge how hard you should be training over a given set. Because, now, despite what your favourite clueless, juiced up influencer suggesting training to failure all of the time,
Hashtag boost mode.
to ensure all sets are maximally effective,
Hashtag no stone unturned.
and while training to failure can be effective,
Hashtag outwork.
it can result in disproportionate fatigue. Training to failure too often can be counterproductive. Therefore, RPE can be useful to manage fatigue, ensuring you, the trainee, is taking the muscle to failure at the right time, because there is, believe it or not, a time and a place, not at every single set. So, for example, a really funny story. I once worked in a typical commercial gym where everyone wore gloves and read books when I used to be on the bikes. And one guy, I remember him to this day, he used to annihilate his arms, he'd train them to failure, only to then proceed to try and perform some chin-ups. He'd fail miserably and then complain to me that he couldn't do any chin-ups. And I was like, mate, where's the logic? Your arms are absolutely ruined. Do your chin-ups first before you smash your arms, and then you may be able to perform some chin-ups. Now, to understand how RIR and RPE fit into resistance training, you need to understand the most important variables of programming, and they are volume, frequency, and intensity. So volume is measured by the total work performed, and this is measured by the total number of sets, multiplied by the total number of repetitions, and multiplied by the weight used for each muscle group or exercise. Frequency is how often you train each muscle group or exercise, and intensity is the weight or load that you are using. The intensity of the set can be expressed by, you guessed it, RPE and RIR. Now, the beauty of RPE and RIR is that they allow you to manage fatigue, and with external factors causing stress, tiredness, therefore you under recovering, they can be a useful tool to ensure you use an appropriate intensity over a given set. Now, I've been there a few times where a session required me to hit 150 kg for triples in the back squat.
Hashtag massive.
I just remember dreading the session because it was 28 degrees outside, I was dehydrated, I was tired after a long day at work, and I remember going in and thinking, there's no way I'm doing this today. Because believe it or not, your strength will fluctuate from session to session. It's normal. RPE and RIR helps us dial back when situations like this happen, and it also allows you to push harder when you have super strong days and strength is unexpectedly high. Now, you may be confused right now because if you're like the majority of guys who I work with, you were under the impression that training to failure on every set was a good idea if your goal is to build muscle. But here is why it's not. If we refer back to earlier, where I mentioned volume was the key component for muscle hypertrophy, you now know more reps in most cases is better. So here we have 2 examples. So let's say we have Brody McBrodeston, who falls in the hashtag no pain, no gain, hashtag beast mode gang, where he takes every set to failure, RPE 10, 0 reps in reserve. And here's what's going to happen. In the first set, he smashes out 20 push-ups, taking him to complete failure. In the second set, he's pretty fatigued because of that, and he only hits 15 push-ups. And in the third set, he's absolutely ruined, his form's an absolute car crash, and he only manages to get 10 reps. So overall, over the 3 sets, he's accumulated 45 reps. Now differently, we have Sonny Sensible, and he takes his first working set to an RPE of 8, where he leaves 2 reps in reserve, and he completes 18 reps. And because of this, he's pretty annoyed, because he feels like he could have done more. But in the second set, he once again leaves 2 reps in reserve, and he hits 18 reps. And in the third set, he hits 15 reps, because he's pretty tired. Now overall, he's accumulated 51 reps. That's 6 more than Brody McBrodeston. Believe it or not, fatigue management is very important if you want to make progress, especially if you have young children, where sleep deprivation and higher stress levels can be a limiting factor. Also, if you're training frequently with high amounts of volume, the carryover effect of being under-recovered can actually impair your next working session, leading to less workload being performed by yourself due to being under-recovered, and that can lead to
No gains.
No one wants that. Now to round up, there is a place for training to failure, and research does suggest taking exercise to failure or close to failure, when done properly, can actually promote muscle growth. But here's what you need to know. First, to maintain solid form and to reduce the chance of injury, it's wise to avoid taking main lifts, bench, deadlift and squat, to failure, training for anywhere between 7 to 9 RPE, or leaving 3 to 1 reps in reserve. I personally don't think that the risk to reward ratio is worth it, and lots of stress and fatigue is placed on the central nervous system when you train at this level of intensity in the squat, bench and deadlift. For secondary lifts like leg press, knee extensions, bicep curls, practically everything that isn't squat, bench or deadlift, you can take sets closer to the 9 to 10 RPE or leaving 1 to 0 reps in reserve, but leave the failing set to the last working set and towards the end of your session. Something to also consider is what session you have planned the following day. For example, if you have deadlifts, yet you annihilate your upper back the previous day, it'll carry over into your next day's training and your deadlift may suffer. Lastly, many guys are under the impression that they have to progress week by week. Remember, strength varies day by day. RPE and RIR allows us to auto-regulate our training. In simple terms, auto-regulate means changing anything in your program based on how you feel. And that means you won't necessarily keep to the exact progression pattern that you have been planning on using, but that's actually okay. And this is making progress summed up in a nutshell. The more time you spend in the gym, remaining injury-free, through training sensibly, the better results that you'll get. Now I'm going to close this video by saying, please subscribe if you liked it, and like it if you enjoyed the content, because not only does it stroke my ego, but it also helps me know what you like and what you enjoy, instead of posting spammy affiliate offers, boring workout videos. And as always, if you have any questions, please let me know. Thank you very much for watching.